foot off the accelerator and let gravity pull me down the hill. If I had the E-pedal on, the car would slow down to regenerate the battery. And it won't let me just use gravity to pull the car down the hill. Now that I'm coming to a light, I can use the E-pedal to slow the car down. If the car slows down to a complete stop purely on the power of the regenerative braking, which can actually bring me to a stop before I want it to. Now I have the E-pedal back on, so when the light turns green, I can go, and the E-pedal will take care of everything. It really is a very impressive system. They've done a very good job of engineering, but you need to have this E-pedal on-off switch right where you can get at it easily, and they do. Now I'm coming to another red light. I take my foot off the accelerator. The E-pedal slows the car down to a complete stop, slowing me down too soon. It actually works too well. So I have to give it a little more accelerator. And we're stopped. The car is holding at a complete stop without me ever touching the brake pedal. Very impressive system. Now that I'm going again, brings me to a complete stop purely on E-pedal. I'm in Southern California. I'm in an area with a lot of steep downhills and steep uphills, and I have hardly used the brake pedal. The ergonomics of the Nissan Leaf are actually very good. The display here has a map, and then of course controls for music. It will link to your phone, all the basic things that most cars have nowadays, but the layout of the system is actually very simple. It even shows you where the charging stations are so that you can get another charge. Furthermore, the instrument panel gives you all the pertinent information in terms of your direction, how much charge you have instead of a fuel gauge, how far you can go, and all your controls for your E-pedal. Right here to turn it off, turn it on, eco mode. And the shifter to move into reverse or drive, as you can see, reverse is forward, drive is rear. It's actually a very good layout. all your basic controls on the steering wheel. Most cars do nowadays, but the way this one is set up is very easy. Let's see if we need a charge. It goes exactly where the charging stations are. The sign does not appear to be working, but it made a beep. And it is charging. You can tell from the light. These Volta EV charging stations are free, but they use the Type 2 connector here, and it does not charge as fast as the EV Go, but you also do not have to pay for it. So, the SAE J1772 chargers that Volta uses are not nearly as fast as the ones that I use at EV Go. However, they do have the advantage of being free. So even if you have to take a little longer charging, can't be free. It comes as no surprise that there would be free electric vehicle charging at Amazon Fresh, since there is at Whole Foods, which is also owned by Amazon. Only brought it from 42 to 60%. I have been at this Tesla supercharger for only a few minutes, and I have already seen the battery increase very quickly. This works so much better than the overnight charging with the standard electrical outlet. If you own a Tesla, I guess this is how you have to do it. Well, I have already, in a matter of under 15 minutes, gotten as much charge as I got to 12 hours out of the wall outlet, these superchargers absolutely are the way to go. So this is my first time at a Tesla supercharger. Let's see if I can figure this out. Long to charge an electric car using a standard electrical outlet, and it is not practical to recharge a car overnight off of a wall outlet unless you use very little charge during the day. It took 18% of a charge to go a distance of about 36 miles from Spring to Friendswood. So that works out to about 200 miles of range on the car. It has a much longer charge window if you use a free charger, like the Volta here. EV charging has arrived. And it is free and you get what you pay for because it is not as fast. The charge on here has gone up to 84% without any charging on my part. I have not plugged it in since the last one, and it was 80 when I unplugged it. So, something settled in the battery, not sure. All you have to do to start a Tesla is put your key down, hit the brake pedal. The car is ready to go. There's no actual engine to start. The amount of storage space available in a Tesla Model 3's trunk is very good. More than sufficient. And in addition, there is a small amount of space available in the front trunk of the front. But it is not nearly as substantial. This is very big in size. There is even more room than you see at first glance in the Tesla's trunk, because there is a very large storage compartment underneath the trunk. Even the control to lock the doors is on the touch screen. That locks the doors. That unlocks them. The Tesla supercharger in Giddings obviously charges at a much higher rate than the previous ones I had used. This is insane. I'm getting over 500 miles of range for every hour I charge. This is awesome. This is far better than anywhere I've previously charged. 125 kilowatts. It says charging equipment not ready, and it has a learn more. But when I hit learn more, nothing happens, and it won't tell me why it's not ready or what I need to do about it. Once again, I have a ready to charge, and charging equipment may not be ready, but not telling me what the problem is. So it tells me ready to charge, charging equipment not ready, and I say learn more. It says ready to charge, charging equipment not ready, learn more, and I get nothing. The car says ready to charge and is not charging. But based on the fact that the other electric cars plugged in here are also not charging, I'm suspicious that this is the charging station
and not the car itself.
And after all of that, saying the car was ready to charge but wouldn't charge, it is actually charging.
Yes, I have brought an electric car. So, there we go. The light went off when the charging was finished.
One of the perks of an electric car is you get to park right up front at stores and charge your car for free while you're shopping. Setup menu allows you to change your settings for the vehicle itself. Lights, all your basic stuff is in here. Voice recognition. The screen has all the basic features. In EV, the car has 3 drive modes. There is a drive mode button on the console. This is Eco. I'm switching to normal. And this is Sport, which is of course red. Paddles only change the amount of regenerative braking and drive. So we are on none. So I will increase it 1, 2, 3, and then reduce it 1, 2, 3. It only works in drive. But see, if I push this button, the regenerative braking goes away. One nice feature here, if you're driving by yourself, is that there is a driver-only option on the controls here for the climate system, so that it only blows out of the left-hand side bit right, so no air for a passenger who is not there. Apparently, you have to have a subscription to have valet mode. Okay, so you have all the basic settings that you need. The Eco, Normal, and Sport, which there's a button here that says Drive Mode that does the same thing. And really, you have buttons down here to do all of these things as well. So you don't need all of this in the menu, but it does give you another way of doing that. touchscreen interface here works very well. It has satellite radio. It has all the basic functions that you would want. If you go through the setup here, the vehicle, the amount of luggage space in the back is not huge, but it basically is a small trunk. Anything that you put back here will be covered and out of sight behind the back seat. It's not a lot of space, but depending on your purposes, it may be sufficient. And underneath the floor is the charging cord, and that's about it. Electric car batteries charge faster when they are lower, and when the charge gets closer to full, they slow down, which is why this car is saying an hour and a half to full charge, but only 30 minutes to 80% charge. So from a speed point of view, it makes much more sense to charge the car to 80% than full. on the Polestar Model 2 is mounted in portrait mode, and you have a map on the screen in front of you. The screen in front of you has your speed, your range. This layout works brilliantly, and I did not think having the tablet in portrait mode would make it as big of a difference as it does, but it really does. So we put the car in park by pushing the button, similar to on the Hyundai. The tablet has all of your apps, audio, maps, Apple CarPlay. You have all of your configuration here. The layout is not as thorough as it was on the Tesla Model 3, but it is a lot easier to work with. Everything you need is in here. You can adjust the steering, and you have sport mode, and you have creep, one pedal driving, you have standard, low, and off. It works best in standard. And the standard is actually very aggressive. Much more so than you would think when you compare it to the Tesla Model 3, and I like that. That is a major improvement. The driving assistance, the adaptive cruise control works phenomenally, but the steering assistant is not as good as it has been in, say, the Hyundai or in the Tesla Model 3. This car has a huge battery, but it does not seem to be as efficient on energy as the Hyundai Kona was. So even if it has a big battery, it does not seem to give the same level of range that you would get, but it is better than the Kona or the Leaf. It is more along the lines of the long-range Tesla Model 3, but that is due to the huge battery, not due to efficiency. So your electric bill would be higher on here, but it does have the range if that's what you need. And you can adjust a lot within this interface, and you do have all the apps, Google Assistant, you do have cameras. This works very well to be able to get in and out of a parking space. As you can see, I am not parked next to anybody, but it works very well, and it works in traffic to show you if you need to change lanes. But having this PlugShare here, this is a major asset, because PlugShare is crowdsourced, and it lets users tell you whether a charging station works, how well it works, and so forth. So you can plan your trip accordingly. Now all of these are Android apps. I mean, this is working on Android, is what it is. So, and the map here, having the ability to have your map right in front of you while you have other apps on here, or while you adjust, and you've got an actual knob for your audio. So you can have all of your things on here while you're looking at the map. So this right here makes it a major improvement over the others, but I would like to either have an e-pedal button like the Nissan Leaf had, or have the paddles on the steering wheel to adjust your regenerative braking like the Hyundai Kona did, and this has neither. the speed at which the car is charging is actually going up a little bit, which is atypical. They usually go down, but if it stabilizes out at 81, that's pretty good. It's not great, I've done better, but that's pretty good. So while I charge, and it is now up to 84 kilowatts charging speed, the interior is decent. It's actually very nice. Aesthetically, it is pleasing. The tablet computer has everything you need in it. If you want to make changes to the car, the one pedal driving, or steering wheel, all the driving assistance features, and they work pretty well. It charges reasonably fast. I mean, everything you need is in here. Like with the Tesla, there's power off right there. And it has USB-C, and only USB-C, and nothing else. No cigarette lighter adapter, and a lot of things do plug into cigarette lighters. And it has two USB-C for the front and two for the back. It does have a knob here for audio, and it does have climate control button. That's a defroster. You can change the radio, but that's about all it has in terms of physical controls. The steering wheel has the cruise control, the adaptive cruise control, and the steering assistant. And it works very well. The steering does not work as well as the adaptive cruise control, but it's good enough. And it does have the shifter here for reverse, neutral, and drive, but for park there's a button. But it's relatively Spartan, but having that screen there is such a benefit over the Tesla Model 3, because it leaves the tablet, and yeah, having it portrait mode just makes everything easier. But having that screen there, and you can have a map on that screen while you have something else on the tablet, is a major benefit. The car is charging right now. And we can sit here and watch YouTube or listen to music while we do. And in the back seat, there is two USB-C outlets in what you would think logically looks like a cigarette lighter adapter, but it is not a 12-volt power like for a cigarette lighter. It's just USB-C. When you select the location in Google Maps, the car tells you what your charge will be when you get there, which is very useful. This car appears to charge very quickly. Most cars charge faster when they're closer to dead and slow down when they're closer to full, which this one does too. But this one seems to be able to take a much faster charge this high up. I mean, going from 69% to 80% in 5 minutes and full in half an hour here. I mean, this is actually a pretty decent charge speed to be able to do. 133 kilowatts is impressive for many charging stations. This is Electrify America, and I'm getting, quite honestly, a whole lot faster charge than I expected. Speed slows down as the battery gets closer to full, but this is still a very respectable 71 kilowatts. The charging really does look the same on the EV6 as it does on the Kona. But the EV6 will obviously charge a bigger one. The charging speed really does slow down when you're almost full. But this thing's got an incredible range, 365 miles. That's really good enough. I can just stop it here. So my phone app is saying the car is 21% charged, but the car itself is saying 23%. So I'm guessing the app does not get the latest information. It takes a while to get through the system. So this is a ChargePoint charging station which requires an app, but most of the ChargePoint stations I've used in the past have been like this one over here, the alternating current low power 6.3 kilowatt. This one is a much higher speed. I've seen these before, but this is the first time I've used one of ChargePoint's. So this charging station is in Oakhurst, California. I took this car on a road trip based on it having a range of 350 or so miles, and that turned out not to be true on a road trip. I knew that the car drinks a lot more power on a road trip than it does in town. When I went from getting around 4.5 or so miles per kilowatt hour to 2.6 and did not have enough power to complete my trip, so I had to stop and recharge. The nice thing about being in California here is that there are charging stations doesn't always want to come out right away. The Kia EV6 has two screens. One here is the dashboard, and one here. Now this one, you have the navigation system, which works great. You have a bunch of other stuff, and it has Apple CarPlay and so forth. You need to do that, but it shows you where the charging stations are, helps picture where all the basic stuff that modern cars have. The air conditioning controls down here are very straightforward. I like that it's done. Steering wheel pretty much works the same way that the Hyundai Kona the drive mode button on the steering wheel, it changes the drive mode between Eco, Normal, and Sport, and you can hold it down for snow if you need it. The regenerative braking can be adjusted with the pedals on the steering wheel from the Max, which is basically 4. Off. So you in effect have 5 grades you can use. I recommend leaving it on Max most of the time unless you're coasting downhill. The alternating current SAE J1772 does not charge nearly as fast as the CCS, but you do have to pay for that. What I'd like to know on a charging station like this one is free. So why am I having to use the app? I understand that they want to charge me and I have to pay why I need to use the app to pay for it, but why am I having to use the app on a free one? Volta doesn't do that. I'm getting a receipt for free. If I didn't pay, I don't need to have a receipt. In addition to the USB charging ports, there is also a wireless charger on the console next to the cup holders. The shifter is a knob. You turn it for reverse and the backup camera comes on. Neutral, drive, and park.